Okay, let's move to the next item. Item E2. This would be Ms. Driver.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be making a
Okay. Thank you,
short
Mr. Hall.
presentation on this one.
Yes, sir.
This is a major plat. It's a 4-lot subdivision plat for industrial land use.
Okay.
It's currently an existing unplatted parcel. The only reason it's a major plat rather than a minor plat is because it will require, for any further development, it will require extension of sanitary sewer. And that gets into the category of a major plat. What's significant about this, any development of lots 1 through 3, if we can get there, 1 through 3. As you can see, 1 through 3 are developed. They're probably somewhat underdeveloped, but they are served by a septic system. And any intensification, any substantial intensification of use on those lots will most likely require that they connect to the sanitary sewer system, the public sanitary sewer. Any development of Lot 4, which is currently vacant, would need to connect to the sanitary sewer if there's any wastewater, such as a lavatory or a toilet. So the plat as proposed, it requires that sanitary sewer be extended to those lots upon further development at the developer's expense. And there's some language in the report that addresses this in the context of the Land Use and Growth Management Plan. And it's consistent with the Land Use and Growth Management Plan. It does call out the probably need to amend the Land Use and Growth Management Plan to consider this area as an industrial area rather than a residential area. But with that, we're recommending approval of this preliminary plat. It'll be followed by a final plat that you will see that will ultimately go to the City Council for approval.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Is there questions of Mr. Hall? Seeing none, I have one. I just want to be clear here. It says approval of the stormwater management plan of the City Council. So is that something that the applicant has to underwrite, or that is something the city will take care of concurrently with our decision today?
That is an action by staff.
Okay.
The stormwater management plan is a very technical review.
Okay.
And so that is subject to the approval of
Because my understanding is normally, like when we have more than 1 acre, any developed land, you have to use a
treatment.
You're right, but I wanted to make sure you weren't referring to a sewer or other storm sewer or other infrastructure items being implemented as part of this outside of what you elaborated here.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. So
Okay.
when they come back and develop, for example, when they develop Lot 4, they would have to apply for a site plan approval.
Okay.
And at that time, the city would review a stormwater management plan or whatever the stormwater requirements are for that particular development.
We're on the same page then. Other questions of staff? Okay, seeing none. We aren't technically a public hearing, but I think it would be nice if the applicant is present, if they would like to add anything.
Rick Schmidt with Schmidt, Beck & Boyd Engineering on behalf of the applicant, Lewis Family Trust. We don't have any issues, Mr. Chairman, with staff's recommendation or the conditions that they placed on the plat itself, so we're okay with everything. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions of Mr. Schmidt? Thank you. And to be clear, Mr. Feiner, this is not, we aren't slated for public comments on this particular one. It's simply an action item.
Correct. It's okay to ask if anybody else is here to speak, though.
Fair enough. Why don't we do that, just be on record. I'm going to allow, let's do this. Is there a motion? Since we don't have it, let's make this official. Take a motion to open this up for public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. With that, if there's anyone from the audience that'd like to say, like to speak on this item, that would be the opportunity. Seeing none, we'll close public hearing. Fellow commissioners, any further discussion? I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make the motion to approve the preliminary plat phase of the Lewis Industrial Park subdivision, subject to the two staff recommendations.
Mr. Hall has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second by Mr. Canard. Any further discussion? Chris, if you'd call roll, please.
Mr. Woods?
Aye.
Ms. Ringler?
Aye.
Mr. Canard?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Gales?
Aye.
Ms. Cavazos?
Aye.
Ms. Burson? Aye. Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Okay, as Mr. Finder had noted previously, to help move things along here, we're going to move these two more briefer items, 3.2 and 3.3, and get those knocked out real quick, and then we'll deal with item 3.1. So with that, let's start. Mr. Hall, item 3.2, Lead City of Topeka.
Thank you. CU 16-6 is an application for a conditional use permit by the City of Topeka Utilities Department. This is for a water pump station. They are relocating the pump station that's currently located a short distance to the northeast at the Rice Community Center property, which is a below-grade pump station, to this location where it will be an above-grade pump station housed in a building that's about 20 by 30 feet in dimensions. We've reviewed this, meets all the setbacks and other requirements that it is required to meet. It satisfies all the golden factors, all the criteria that it's subject to for any conditional use permit, based on the conditions recommended in the staff's recommendation, in the staff report. These conditions are designed to ensure that it's compatible. Just want to mention earlier, you saw the memo that where it's advising replacing the condition that's recommended for the limit on the sound level. I won't repeat that unless you have questions about that. Another condition to point out is it's condition 9A through C, that would require that the exterior elevations be revised to reflect a design that is more compatible with the residential character of the buildings to the north, west, and northwest. And with that, we have to take any questions. The applicant is here to answer any questions as well, but we have gone over this with the applicant, and they are in agreement with these conditions, as I understand. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Do we have questions of Mr. Hall? Commission? I just want to be clear, 9A says the roof design is a gable or hip roof with a minimum 312 pitch, and when I look at, not to get all particular, but I look at the elevations on sheet 4 of the drawings, C1, C2, B1, and B2, I don't see a hipped roof or a gable roof.
Mr. Chairman, for all practical purposes, that is a flat roof, and that is not, the site plan has not been updated to reflect that condition. That's the purpose of the condition, that they revise that.
So help me understand, on behalf of the commission and the public, what would the procedure be before this is approved from a building permit perspective? I mean, we're not approving the building permits, obviously. We're simply approving this to move forward, but these documents are part of the application.
What they're required to do is submit a revised sheet showing elevations that meet that condition 9 to A through C. And we would expect that be submitted prior to this going to a governing body and then prior to issuance of a building permit. A building permit is required for this.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Any further questions of staff? Seeing none, if the representative of the applicant would be available.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, Angela Sharp with Bartlett and West, representing the City of Topeka Water Division, and Paul Bodner is here with the Water Division with me as well. And as Mike indicated, City Water Division is in agreement with the conditions presented, and the various departments within the city have worked really well together and worked diligently to go through all of the different parameters so that we not only provide the necessary utility infrastructure that we need in this site to upgrade the area, but then also so that it fits well and complements the neighboring properties. So with that, I'd like to answer any questions.
Any questions of Ms. Sharp? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we're going to open the meeting for public comments. If you're here and wish to speak on behalf of this item, this would be the opportunity to step forward. Okay, seeing no one, go ahead and close the public comments. Further questions of staff or comments by the, one moment here. Sorry, sir, didn't give you time to maybe get it. We did close. Are you wanting to speak on behalf of this item?
Yeah, I just got.
All right, I'm going to administratively open it back up. I didn't realize you were getting up, so this will be your opportunity. Please step forward.
My name's Clay Warren, and I was just needing a little clarification on this. Is this a city sewer pump station or city water?
Mr. Hall, if you'd like to address this, please.
This is a water pump station. It's not a sanitary sewer pump.
It isn't sanitary? Okay. I didn't know for sure. I just need a little clarification on that because I didn't know if it was going to go in conjunction with the proposed research plant. Nope. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on behalf of this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comments. Fellow commissioners? Any further discussion, questions of staff? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion. Staff has submitted recommendations for approval with the items listed 1 through 9.
I will make a motion.
Yes, Ms. Engler?
I move to recommend amending the land use and growth management plan according to the staff report for this item with those 9.
Okay.
No.
Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Yes, Mr. Hall?
The recommendation on this one is to, the recommended motion would be to approve the conditional use permit per the staff report, subject to the conditions of approval, and acknowledging the revision in condition number 5 as described in the memo that was handed out.
I apologize, I was on the wrong page.
So is it as stated by staff, how you want your motion
Yes, please, I
worded?
would move as Mr. Hall said.
Well stated, Ms. Rindler.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion pertaining to this? Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Hall. Appreciate that. Seeing none, let's go ahead and call roll.
Mr. Armstrong abstains. Ms. Burson?
Aye.
Ms. Cavazos? Aye. Mr. Gales?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan? Aye. Mr. Kennard?
Aye.
Ms. Ringler?
Aye.
Mr. Woods?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0 with 1 abstaining.
This time, Mr. Woods, the gavel is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
we will beg the patience of the folks here watching and of commissioners as we exchange commissioners. One comes, one leaves. Okay. Our next item on the agenda, under the heading of 3, the PUD for Brewster Place, the Master Campus Unit Development proposal, in which we would be, it's requested that we rezone several different zoning categories, R1, M2, OI 1 and 2, PUD, OI 1 and through 3, et cetera, all to PUD with an M3 multiple family dwelling district use. Ms. Driver, I believe, is going to give us the presentation before we act.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. This is a request, case PUD 16-6. Applicants are the Congregational Home, also known as Brewster Place. Co-applicant is the City of Topeka. City holds some of the bonds on the property, so they're a party to the application as well. Brewster Place is requesting a rezoning from, as you earlier stated, ONI 3 and ONI 2, office and institutional, R1, single family dwelling district, M2, multiple family dwelling district, and three separate PUDs, all to a single PUD plan unit development for ONI 3, ONI 2, M2, and M3 uses. Property is generally located near the southwest intersection of Southwest 29th Street. Topeka Boulevard lies between 29th and 31st Street, and then along the east side of Southwest Lincoln Street. Comprises 25.82 acres. The primary reason for the rezoning before you tonight is to allow the applicants to construct part of Phase 2 on their plan, a new 3-level parking garage, and then a new multi-purpose community center for use by the residents of the Brewster Place. The Brewster Place complex has been zoned and rezoned over the past 50 years by a number of different zoning actions. So as you see on the zoning map, it comprises several different zonings and PUD plans. What this really does is to accommodate the entire campus under a single master PUD plan, which is better for clarity for both the property owner themselves as well as for the surrounding neighborhood. So as I mentioned, Phase 2, which is the parking garage, and that is shown with access off of 31st Street in the future, and Phase 3, which is the multi-purpose community center, also with access eventually on 31st Street, are what they're coming in tonight and what they really need the rezoning for. The consultant did complete a traffic impact study as it was required by the city traffic engineer. The traffic engineer has accepted that TIA and has no issues with it. The PUD zoning is preferred by planning staff because of the interrelationship of the uses, access, and parking and circulation on site. The PUD plan for what they're proposing does not alter the density or the number of units. And staff is recommending approval, subject to your conditions in the staff report. The applicant is in agreement to those. I'm open for any questions that you may have. The applicants are here tonight as well.
Thank you, Ms. Driver. So I think we are at the point now, unless there are any questions for Ms. Driver specifically on her presentation from commissioners. Seeing none, I think we're ready for our public hearing, and I'd first like to ask if there is anyone representing the proponents who'd like to speak to address the commission. I see none making their way. So are there any members of the public who would like to address the commission? Yes, sir.
Good evening. Jeff Lawback, SBB Engineering. We're the applicant. We've reviewed the recommendations from staff, and we're okay with all the recommendations. Matt Burns is also here with Brewster Place if you guys have any questions.
Any questions at all, commissioners? Thank you, sir. I think I saw, was there a member of the public who was making their way up? Sir.
I hope you can hear me. I've got a cold. My name is John Keller, and I live at the corner of 29th Terrace and Lincoln Street. What is the proposal from like 29th Terrace to 29th Street on Lincoln? Where's that parking garage planning on going? You know, I've lived in this building, in my house, since 1983, and it's a nice residential area, and Brewster Place just keeps coming out, and so they put these duplexes across the street from me, and I said, well, that's okay, except they decided to put the backyards facing me instead of the front of the house. I don't want my residential area to go to professional buildings and parking lots right across the street, parking buildings right across the street from me. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, any additional members of the public who'd like to address the commission? If there are none, I think we are prepared to close the hearing and entertain discussion among commission members. Commissioners. Mr. Finder.
Commissioner Woods, yes, just to answer that question, if commissioners would indulge, the parking garage is located off of 31st, where he is located at 29th Terrace, between 29th Terrace and 29th Street on Lincoln. There was a previous PUD amendment for a multifamily villa. That's phase one on the overhead here on the far left side of the screen. So that was under a previous PUD that was approved. So that's not on the up for consideration tonight. That clearly just incorporates that approval into the entire boundary of the development. So it just carries over previous approvals as well as this parking garage, which is off of 31st Street. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Finder, for that clarification. Any discussion among commissioners?
Maybe to further clarify, as I read this map, the three-level parking garage is basically tucked in toward the center of the site, or the southern portion of the center of the site, and it's really concealed by some 80-unit project that's in front of it, so it's not a highly visible item.
Any response, Ms. Driver?
Yes, that is, yes, that is true. It is interior to the site. There is also some language on the PUD that does address the design materials of both the parking garage and the multipurpose center, that we would be able to review those at the time of site development regarding the building materials, colors, textures, architectural detailing, and landscape features.
That's to make sure they're consistent with the
consistent with the compatible with the surrounding buildings.
Okay. Any additional, Ms. Cavazos?
I just have a question. Looking over the notes,
And this was brought up from an audience member about the conference building being just for residents' use. And you mentioned earlier that it was going to just be for the residents' use for the event space. And I didn't know if that, because it doesn't state that in here, so I didn't know if that audience member's question had been addressed at this meeting.
From my knowledge, it is geared towards residents and visitors of the complex. It might be a question the applicants would be able to address better.
Okay.
And I see the applicant's representative making his way to the podium.
Jeff Lawback. The multipurpose building is for a cafeteria and auditorium, so there'll be no additional living units in that multipurpose building. There is also proposed an indoor pool that is also a part of that. They will be removing quite a few carports, and that's what where the multipurpose building will be going. And the parking garage is to make up for those covered parking spots. And so there'll be some connectivity between the parking garage and the multipurpose building and some of the other buildings out there, so that they can go from the parking garage to the other buildings in a covered walkway or walking in between buildings.
To your best recollection from that meeting, was that addressed to the residents or to the audience member who had asked on that question? Because it doesn't, from the notes that were typed up that were given to us, and so I just didn't know if that person's question had been answered. So that was what I was asking.
Oh.
And it doesn't state who asked that question either.
I'm wondering, are you, just for further clarification, so I understand, are you asking, will the multipurpose center be available for broader community use?
Correct.
In partnership with the business, with Brewster Place?
Correct.
No, just for Brewster Place. There might be events that invite people at certain times, but not.
Okay.
Not
Thank you.
Thank
daily basis.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions or comments by commissioners? Questions of staff or of the applicants? If not, then I think we are prepared to entertain a motion on this item.
I would move for approval of application PUD 16-6 Brewster Place Campus Master PUD Plan, subject to the 7 conditions listed by staff.
Correct. Thank you. Second. So motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? There's none seen. If not, then I think we are ready to vote.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Ms. Burson?
Aye.
Ms. Cavazos?
Aye.
Mr. Gales? Abstains Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan? Aye. Mr. Canar?
Aye.
Ms. Ringler?
Aye.
And Mr. Woods?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0 with 1 abstaining.
And now I think we will call a 2-minute recess while our chair makes his way back up. We resituate everything.
And the chair's going to give us 5 minutes to rest.
You know, I wanted to give you a little bit of time. That's all right. Thank you.
It's a good minute and 30.
That was fun. Give him about 30 more seconds.
So I don't know if our sound is really funky, but a lot of people in the back, I see them.
They're going like this, they can't hear.
Yeah. So many more people swallowing it up or something.
Yeah, I'll ask him back. It might be that you've got to get really close to the mic. But
All right, why don't we get settled back in and keep the ball rolling here. So for those that want to go ahead and head out, if this would be the opportunity, and the rest of you, if we could get seated, we'll get...
Just wondering if there's any way you can turn up the volume on your mic.
Working on it.
Yep, they're working on it. Thank you, sir. They are working on it. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, we got everybody back? And waiting for Miss Faney. Oh, yeah. We'll allow Rosa here a minute, so didn't realize she'd stepped out.
shouldn't be all the time people to the front row.
We haven't, did it say what the issue is? Entertain a motion for more bathrooms.
Closer bathroom.
Closer bathrooms. They're not that far, just not enough of them.